Hi there, everyone. So today what we're going to be talking about, we should all be on page 30. So this is page 30, and we're going to be talking about polynomial long division. Okay, so we're going to be doing long division today. Tomorrow you'll be seeing synthetic division. Okay, so I do have a little warm-up question for us, again, to just remind us how long division works and what it looks like. So let's do part B first, and then we'll do part A. Okay, so for part B, we have 15, okay? Remember, you guys probably learned in, like, elementary school and middle school, right? You draw, like, the little house. Okay, the 3,172 goes inside the house. The 15's on the outside. And we're just going to start the process of long division. So the way you guys do this is you always check and say, well, how many times does 15 go into 3? Well, 0 times. Okay, 15 goes into 3 0 times. Okay, how many times does 15 go into, and let me just rewrite it. This was 31. Okay. How many times does 15 go into 31? It goes into 31 twice. And we subtract out what 15 times 2 is. Okay, you might think, oh, why are we doing this? This is so obvious. I'm just trying to remind you guys what the steps look like for long division. And we'll subtract this out. We get 1. And you bring down what's up top. How many times does 15 go into 17? It goes into it once. And we multiply back. 15 times 1 is 15, and subtract out. Okay, again, let's keep going. Oh, that should not be a 0. Sorry, just wrote the wrong number. That is a 2. Okay, we're bringing down that number. Okay, well, 15 times what gets us towards 22? Well, 15 times 1 gets us very close to 22, so we subtract out the 15 because we multiply 1 back by 15. And we'll have 7. Now there was really a 0 here, which we can bring down. And again, we want to see how many times does 15 go into 70? Well, the closest number we can get to is 4, so because we put this decimal here, we need to bring it up. Okay, and 15 times 4 is 60, so subtract that out, and we have 10. Again, there's always another 0 here. We bring it down. So hopefully you guys are starting to get used to like this process. And we'll just do it one more time. 15 times what gets us towards 100? Well, we can do 15 times 6. Okay, that's really close. And that ends up being 90. So subtract 90, and we're back to, again, being at 100. We just keep going. So this is actually repeating. Okay, so hopefully you guys were able to see the demonstration of like what the long division looks like. Now we're going to tackle this for some more complicated questions like dealing with polynomials. So, okay, this was what was outside the house. This is what goes underneath the house. Okay, but again, you guys are in high school. We don't need to be using that terminology. All right, you guys have the dividend, things like that. So we have x plus 4 going into x squared plus x minus 12. Okay. Well, let's see. Think about the process we just did before. X times what gets us to x squared? Well, x times x, right? X times x gets us to x squared. Okay, so we would multiply it by x. And remember what we did before. We multiplied back. So x times x is x squared. X times positive 4 is positive 4x. Right, we subtracted out the entire term. Think about how we were always subtracting out when we multiplied back in. We'll have these to cancel, and we'll have 1x minus 4x is negative 3x. Bring down the negative 12. Continuing the process. Okay, let's see. Let me just erase here, and I'll rewrite so we don't get confused. So this was x plus 4. Okay, x plus 4. And now we want to see x times what gets us to negative 3x? Well, x times negative 3. So we're going to write that minus 3. Okay, minus 3. And we multiply it back. Multiply it back. Subtract it out. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. And we're left with no remainder. So this is our answer, x minus 3. Okay, so hopefully this example helped, and we're going to get to some more complicated problems. You guys will see there is an example here where I show you all the steps. So this example here you guys can check out on your own. But we're going to get right into just some practice problems. So let's turn over to page 31. Okay, so for exercise 2, let's do this together. So we have x plus 1, which goes into x squared plus 3x plus 5. And we want to see x times what gets us to x squared? X times x. We multiply back, right? That's what we're subtracting out. So I have x times x is x squared. X times positive 1 is positive 1x. And now we're just subtracting out our terms. Don't forget the negative out here that has to be distributed. Well, this goes away. I don't need to write that. And then I have plus 2x. Bring down the 5. Okay, so now, again, we want to go back and see x times what gets us to 2x? Well, x times 2, so add 2. And we multiply it back. So subtract out our total. That's what we've always done with long division. We subtract out. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 1 is positive 2. These terms cancel. And I have 5 minus 2, which is 3. So I have a remainder of 3. Okay, we always write it being divided by the dividend. Okay, so we always write it over the dividend. Okay, let's try question exercise 3. So we want to divide the polynomial by this. Now, when you guys see terms missing, you see how this goes from x cubed to then 1? Well, we're missing x squared, we're missing x, right? We're missing all those terms in between. So what we end up doing is writing placeholders. X cubed plus 0x squared plus 0x minus 1, okay? These values here are placeholders, and you'll see why we did this. Okay, so again, we want to see x times what gets us to x cubed, and x times x squared gets us to x cubed. Remember, we multiply it back. Subtract out what we're multiplying it back by. We have x squared times x is x cubed. X squared times negative 1 is negative x squared. Hence the placeholder here, because look, now I have an x squared term introduced. All right, and we'll see again, those terms cancel. We have a negative times a negative, that makes that positive, so we're left with x squared. Bring down that term. Now again, even though there's no actual x term there, it's helpful because it's a placeholder, as you guys just saw here. Okay, that placeholder helped. All right, we got to see x times what gets us to x squared? Well, x times a positive x. And we're going to multiply it back. Okay, we're going to multiply it back. So x times x is x squared. And x times negative 1 is negative x. Hence that placeholder coming in handy here. We have a double negative, so this will be really positive x. And x squared minus x squared is 0x squared, which I don't need to write, so I'm not going to. All right, and last thing we got to bring down is that negative 1. So we have to see. X times what gets us to positive x? We'll just multiply it by positive 1. And we multiply it back. 1 times x is x. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. And you'll see you have no remainder. I don't know if you guys noticed, but this is actually a difference of cubes question. Okay, this was actually a difference of cubes question. So our final answer here was our x squared plus x plus 1. That's actually a formula I derived with you guys before. So there's our answer. Okay, why don't you guys try exercise 4? Why don't you guys try exercise 4? And of course, I'm going to go through it with you, but maybe pause the video here and see if you get the same thing as me. Okay, so pause the video here. Okay, so let's see if we got the same thing. We have x squared plus 2x minus 3. We're dividing into 2x to the 4th plus 4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 3x minus 2. So just a longer polynomial, no biggie. Okay, again, we're multiplying and seeing. X squared times what gets us to 2x to the fourth? Well, 2x squared, right? X squared times 2x squared is 2x to the fourth, which is what we wanted. Okay, so that's good. So now we want to multiply it back. Multiply it back. And we subtract it out. So we have 2x squared times x squared is 2x to the fourth. Then we have 2x squared times 2x is positive 4x cubed. And then we have 2x squared times negative 3, which is negative 6x squared. We're going to distribute this negative, so distribute the negative. Okay, this will become minus, this will become plus, and we can combine terms. That goes away, that goes away, and we are left with x squared. Bring down the other two terms, bring down the other two remaining terms, because if you look, we had 3 terms here that it was being divided out by. Okay, again, going back to what we just did before, we want to see x squared times what gets us to x squared? Well, x squared times 1. Multiply it by a positive 1. Okay, so now we got to redistribute. Now we need to redistribute. Okay, we'll subtract out whatever we multiply back by. So positive 1 times x squared is x squared. Positive 1 times 2x is positive 2x. And positive 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. Again, we have to distribute that negative, so we'll make that plus, this minus, and this plus. That goes away. 3x minus 2x is x. And negative 2 plus 3 is positive 1. So this is my remainder. So I have plus x plus 1 all over x squared plus 2x minus 3. Okay, so this is my final answer. Okay, and there you guys have it. Okay, let's keep going. Let's flip it over. Let's take a look actually at exercise 7. Let's make it a little bit more challenging. Yes, we love the challenge. Okay, so let's do exercise 7. So this is page 32. Now notice I'm missing an x term. So we're going to write plus 0x when we write this out. Okay, I notice that denominator is missing an x term. That is no bueno, no bueno. So we need to write out x squared plus 0x plus 3 is getting divided into x cubed minus 5x squared plus 3x minus 15. Alrighty, and let's do what we've been doing this whole time, guys. X squared times what gets us to x cubed? Well, x squared times x will get us to x cubed. So we're going to multiply it back. X times x squared is x cubed. X times 0x is plus 0x squared. And x times 3 is positive 3x. Again, we'll distribute that negative. So this will become plus, minus, minus, minus. That goes away. We're left with negative 5x squared plus 0x. Those go away. Bring down the negative 15. And again, guys, it's the same thing. What's x squared times what gets us to negative 5x squared? Well, we multiply it by negative 5. We're multiplying it by negative 5. So now we're going to go back and distribute the negative 5. Okay, this is going to get distributed back. So subtract it out. We have negative 5x squared minus 0x, right? Because negative 5 times 0, that's really 0. And then minus 15. Again, this was just a placeholder, guys. Just a placeholder. Actually, in the end, didn't affect our answer. But in the other one, if you didn't use the placeholder, you would have gotten it wrong. All right, you guys will see if we do our sign change, right? Distributing that negative. We end up with no remainder. So that's my answer, x minus 5. Awesome. Okay, we're just going to finish up on page 33. We're actually going to do all 3 of these, and you'll see why. We are going to do all 3 of these. So exercises 8, 9, and 10, and then we're done. So if you guys want to pause the video here and try these on your own, I would do so. I'm going to post the solutions momentarily. Okay, and there you guys have your answer for exercise 8. Like I said, you should pause the video here to do 8, 9, and 10. So you can just check your work with mine, and then I'm going to scroll down and provide you the work for 9 and 10. All right, and there you all have it. So here are the answers for exercises 9 and 10. Again, make sure you did these problems on your own and you're just checking your work with mine to make sure that they match, because this page is going to be very crucial in our lesson for tomorrow. You'll see these questions kind of repeated, and it's done specifically for a reason. Alrighty, I'll talk to you all soon.